Oh my goodness. I am so excited for today. You have no idea. So, this is our first special edition author panel live with some amazing authors. They're all best-selling authors. In celebration of the fact that FanGrrrl Romance Rex, we are live on our website after tons and tons of work. There's tons of information out there on the website for members in the Facebook groups for authors. There's emoji reviews for me, Loving on Books, so you can get a great fun rec there. There's our live events. I go live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern with somebody, some authors from the group or somebody. And then we're going to be doing book signings. We're going to be hosting book signings. I'm currently working on one in Orlando right now. So it's super exciting. I'm super excited. And so in celebration of all this stuff and all this excitement, I reached out to all these authors that I love. And I said, would you do a panel with me in the month of May on Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern to celebrate this big moment for us for FanGrrrl Romance Rex? And they said yes, they all did. And so today is the first author panel live. We'll have them every Wednesday in the month of May at 4 p.m. Eastern. And so this one is with the authors from the contemporary romance group. That's FanGrrrl Romance Rex After Dark. And we have Gemma Weir, who wrote Obsession, and she's also famous for the Mountain Men series. We have Bea Paige, who wrote Dancer in the Mask. Sorry, I got confused there because her Dancer in the Mask is actually the Obsession duet. So the two of them, it's like their names. And then also the Academy Stardom series or Stardom Academy. She'll tell us. And then that's a dancer series. And then also Wright, who wrote The Puck Secret. So without further ado, let me pull these ladies in here. They're amazing. So here we go. Here is Gemma.
Hi.
Hi. All right, let me get Bea in here. There's Bea, and I'm going to switch you and me, Bea, so we're in different spots. There we go. Yay! And then here is Gabby.
Hi.
G and Wright. Hi. How
Gabby's
are you guys
fine.
doing? Good?
Good.
Yeah. So you all have accents. All three of you.
We're all
to
here.
me, anyway.
To you, yeah. But then you have an accent to us.
No, I don't have an accent.
You really do. You really do.
No. So tell us why you have an accent. Where are you guys all from? Where do you all live? And what part? So let's start. Bea, we'll just go. I think we'll probably have to make some order on this. Actually, let's do Gemma in this way. That makes more sense. So Gemma, tell us where you're from.
I am from Staffordshire in the Midlands, which isn't that close to Birmingham for people who understand the accent. Slap bang middle of the country.
Okay, awesome. Staffordshire. So isn't that where Shakespeare is from?
We're about an hour and just over an hour from Stratford, where Shakespeare was.
Stratford. Yes, that's okay. I got that mixed up. Okay, cool. Awesome. Bea, how about you?
I'm a Londoner, born and bred, so I live in London on the outskirts. Well, in London, it's a London council, but not central London. But I'm a Londoner.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. And Gabby?
I'm from Manchester.
Manchester. Yes, that's right. Because we just had FFB in Manchester.
Yes, it was very fun.
Town, right? And Gemma, you were there too. And Bea, I know you were at last year's. I don't think you were at this year's. Were you?
No, not this year.
Last year it was in Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. And they had the ball and the gothic thing, and me and my husband and my assistant and her husband all got dressed up and walked from our hotel looking like complete idiots. My husband had got a hat, a cane, he got this weird like gothic gimp mask thing. The funny looks we got walking through central Liverpool dressed like that.
Oh, I missed the ball last year because I was still getting over a broken ankle, and I was like, I'd done it in all day, like standing at the sign, and I was like, I can't go and do like another 3-4 hours at a ball, it'll kill me off.
I was in a full ball gown with Ugg slippers on.
I love it.
Oh,
see, I would have been in a ball gown with like a medical boot still on. I don't think it would have been a good look.
The past one in Manchester, I was so tired because I facilitated all the panels, the night before, like with the Twisted Sisters. So it was crazy. And then I did all the interviews all day long. Like I was absolutely exhausted. I snuck it off to the side and sat down. Like everyone else is drinking, and I'm just like sneaking off, just like feet up in the air. So that's the downside when it's busy, is whatever, But anyways, and then the previous one, I got swindled into going to downtown. Let's see, it was Liverpool. I got like after the event was over, like one of my girlfriends was like, let's just go outside the hotel for a minute, and ended up taking me downtown, and we were out to 4 a.m.
Oh my God.
To be fair,
Wow.
we went back to the hotel, closed the hotel bar down. They had those like battery taper candles, and I got one of them down my boobs. We almost got chucked out the hotel. It was really a messy night, to be honest. It was a cracking night.
I was dead on my feet the next day. Claire came to pick me up. Claire, that works for Stephanie Hudson, and I helped them move stuff to their offices the next day. And I was on 2 hours of sleep, a lot of booze the night before. So it was a rough morning, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time. And that's where I met all of you, right?
Yeah.
At FFB. Yeah. So let's go around and talk about what each of you write, what genre you write, what your series you're most known for, and all that jazz. Let's start with you, Gemma.
Well, I'm probably best known for the Mountain Man series, which is lumberjack porn, in its most basic form. But more recently, I've sort of started dipping my toes into darker romance, which is where you found me through Obsession. But I also have a biker series and some sort of new adult twisty turny stuff, and more recently fireman porn, because really, uniforms, big hoses, that kind of thing.
Fireman. That's great. Okay, awesome. All right, how about you, Bea? What do you typically write? And we're all contemporary romance, but
romance. Most of them. Yeah, contemporary romance for me. Most of them are dark. It's one way or another. Their Obsession duet is my written, but I suppose I'm most well known for Academy of Stardom series, which is like the dancer gangsters who can dance basically series. So Step Up meets Top Boy kind of thing.
I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the way to sell it.
Yeah, it works. I just say Channing Tatum ×4 with tattoos, and that tends to sell it for me.
Sold.
Sign me up. That sounds good. All right, how about you?
Mine's actually the opposite, because I only wrote dark romance, and then I went into contemporary, and then contemporary is now what everyone knows me for, because the contemporary book I wrote did the best. So I've got the Puck Secret. I've got the Puck Decoy, which is releasing at the end of May, which is the continuation of that series. But before that, it was probably the Hallowed Crows series, which is like MC series, Why Choose, 3 guys, their president's daughter, who they shouldn't touch, but they do. And just basically being mean to my readers.
Mean to your readers.
Yeah.
Oh, you kill people off?
All the time.
Oh, no.
The pay, it's fun. You should try it. It's so fun.
I only ever kill the bad guys. I can't kill the good guys. It's like traumatizing.
Well, I'm with you.
No, I've never, ever forgiven Molly McAdams for killing off Chase in Taking Chances or whatever it's called. I read that in like 2013. I have never forgiven her. I've never met her. I can't ever meet her because I've never forgiven her.
I brutally wounded one of my characters. I was going to kill him off, and when I told my PA, she was like, "Do not, you dare kill him off! Literally, you will." See,
I'm having that exact conversation now with my alpha reader, not for the hockey book, for my darker series. Yeah. Is like, I want to cause some pain, and she's like, "If you do this, I will not speak to you anymore." And I'm like, "Well, guess we're not going to be speaking for a while because it's happening."
Oh no.
So I haven't read your other series now, Gabby, and I'm scared.
If you like pain and sex.
Okay, well, all right.
That's That's what mine are about.
Sounds perfect.
It's like you're going to be hurt, but you're also going to be horny.
I love it.
The accent there, I think I heard what you said. You're going to be hurt, but you're going to be
horny.
Right, got it. Oh my goodness, that's great. Okay, so I have a question for you. So for all of you. So Gemma, you said mountain men and firemen. B, you have dancers predominantly, but you do the dark stuff, right? And then Gabby, you have ones that you kill off, but then also you have your hockey sportster man.
Yes.
So do any of you have experience in any of those areas? Like Gabby, do you have experience with hockey? B, do you have experience with dance? And Gemma, I mean, do you chop wood or what? Like what?
I was wondering how you were going to word that to her.
I'm a big fan of wood. Does that count? And men who know to swing their axe.
Oh my gosh, I'm just crying. That's hysterical. I was trying to get it connected. All right, go. Who wants to go? Someone go. Oh, by the way, look.
Should I go? I don't know. I'm not a dancer, so I love artists in all forms. So a lot of my books have you've got musicians, graffiti artists, dancers, that kind of thing. So a lot of my characters are like that. And actually, my husband is quite an inspiration for a lot of them. My husband is a street artist, so he does a lot of art on the street.
That's so cool.
He inspired many characters, and he actually grew up doing dance as well. But I am not a dancer. I am the mum that dances in the kitchen. I'm the first on the dance floor and the last off it, but I cannot actually dance. I think I can. I think I'm Beyonce, but I love dances. So I love to watch dances. I love to, all the shows. I watched all the movies growing up. So I often have artistic people in whatever form in my books, basically. But I'm not a dancer.
I just have really dirty mind, and in my head, it's like, what's a really sexy thing? I know I'll have a really attractive family of 7 dudes, and I'll make them all single on the side of a mountain. 7.
Perfect.
I'm going to need you to slide in my DMs and tell me the title of the first book.
Absolutely, I can do that. And they're all growling, alpha, over the top, jealous, possessive nightmares. They literally, at birth, they get handed a red flag and they spend the rest of their life just waving it. Yeah, no, I just like over the top, jealous, possessive men, and then I give them professions that I think are quite sexy. So. Yeah. Bikers, firemen, mountain men, really rich kids.
I support.
Sounds good. And your husband actually walked past me and flashed me, right? Wasn't that your husband?
Probably.
Yeah.
I feel like we need more context.
He would have flashed his tattoos more than likely.
Yeah, no, it was his shirt. It wasn't the lower region.
He's not going to get his cock out. But, I mean, he would if you asked him nicely. But, as a general rule, my books are not inspired by my husband. Just putting that out there. He has a lot of tattoos, and he's got a Peter Griffin tattoo on his chest, and it was my suggestion, so it's totally my fault. But it's Peter Griffin dressed as a bunny girl, and his nipple is Peter Griffin's cock. But then he also has Lois wearing a strap-on.
I love that you preface that story with none of the book boyfriends are based on my husband, but this is my husband.
Do you know what? We went to Australia over to Rare at Melbourne, and it's the first time he'd ever been to a book signing. I mean, he knows what I do, but he's never read a word. He says he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to know what's going on in my head. So he's never read a word that I've written. So he came over to Melbourne, and it's the first time he'd really experienced author me. But he was at book signings. I give away sex toys with my pre-orders. So we travelled however many, 23 hours with a suitcase full of butt plugs and vibrators.
Oh my God, this is brilliant.
So we're in Melbourne, and I was quite busy. I was really blessed to have like a lot of people that came to see me over in Melbourne. And we've got this massive box of sex toys, and my husband's like, I've got but this is my job, this is my responsibility. So he's literally, we've got people coming up and he's going, you look like you need a butt plug, and throwing butt plugs at people. By the end of the day, people were queuing up to see him. I had these two ladies, and they came to the table, and I'm like, hi, how are you? And they're like, oh, hi, we actually, we wanted to have photos with him, is that all right? I'm like, fine, whatever. Flies to the other side of the world, and you want to meet my husband. And then, and yes, there are several photos of him in Australia with his shirt up, with really enthusiastic ladies looking at his Peter Griffin tattoo. Whilst he threw butt plugs at people.
Yeah. I couldn't prepare for this live.
You were not expecting this, were you?
I did say I was going to say something inappropriate.
And now what you did to me is quite tame, actually.
Yeah. You didn't get a butt plug through it, yeah?
Oh my God, no.
By the end of the day, by the end of the weekend, we were the butt plug table.
The best table.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So anybody have a story to beat that with their spouse?
Nope.
No? Bee's thinking. She's thinking hard. No. Okay. All right then. Moving on. So is everyone's family pretty supportive actually of them writing? Does everyone?
Yes.
Does your spouses read your books?
No.
No.
He does carry around my little postcards though and gives them out to people, which is kind of cute.
Right.
Oh, look at
anyone that's like, they'll be like, oh, what does your wife do? And she's like, oh, she's an author. And they're like, oh, she's an author. And he's like, yeah, here you go. And gives them a little thing with my QR code on. Whereas
my kids give me out to their teachers, which
so does mine.
Yeah.
So does mine. Except because she's learning to read now, I sort of got to the point where she was like, oh, can I read your book? And I was like, no. Like, I was like, my books are for big girls. So now she goes around saying to people, oh, my mum's an author. And I'm like, oh, what does she write? She's like, oh, she writes romance books for big girls. But she like says it like that with her face, and I'm like, can we stop saying that? Can we just leave it at author, please?
That's so cute.
Mine are older. My eldest is 14, and then I've got twin 12-year-old, almost 12-year-olds, and a toddler. So my oldest still goes to school, and they did this activity where it was like looking at your parents' careers and whether they were. It was in PHSE or something. And like I said to Soph, I said, well, did you say what I did? And she's like, no. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, well, because we weren't sure where you would slot in on the sort of like, there was categories for people's jobs. And I'm like, well, do you tell people what I do? And she's like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, what do you tell them that I do? And she's like, oh, we tell them you write porn. I'm like, thanks for that stuff. Just great. Thanks. So yeah, I'm the mum that writes porn.
I used to work at my kids' school, and I took a pen name because I didn't want that kind of them to be like, their friends to find out what their mum did. They're just like, mum, you can't. And now a couple of my kids, I've got a 17 and a 14-year-old, and my 14-year-old's friends, some of them have found my TikToks. I was like, no, don't go on there. And I'm like, block.
See, if that was me though, if I'm a teenager and I found out like my friend's mum wrote romance books, the first thing I'm doing is downloading them and reading them.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Away, instantly, I'm like, I've got to read this. I've got to see. It'd be so cool.
It's going to be hard though, like, right? That's why a lot of people do pen names, right? Where yeah.
And also, I didn't want my colleagues to find out. Like, and actually, when I left, they were like, oh, what are you going to do? And I actually ended up telling the truth. And they were like, what do you mean you write romance books? And I was like, yeah, I've been doing it for the last 4 years. They're like, what? They couldn't believe it. They're like, I can't believe it. And because my son still goes to that school, whenever I go to parents' evening, they're like, oh, how's it all going? And I read this. And I was like, oh my God, please let's not talk about this here in like a room full of people.
See, I'm the other extreme. I'm really blatant about it. Gemma Weir is my real married name. I don't write under a pen. It never really occurred to me, to be honest. I am very blatant, and some people, when you get people that are dicks, I'm even more blatant about it when they're arseholes.
Yeah, exactly. Why not though? I mean, it's funny because I actually originally had the pen name because someone told me I wrote an urban fantasy. My first book was an urban fantasy. It's no longer in circulation. It was awful, but I wrote that in my real name, and someone gave me the advice that you shouldn't have the same name if you're writing two very different genres. And so then I just did Bea Paige, and then I ended up just keeping that because that's where everything went and I did well in that pen name, I suppose. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? But now I don't care. I tell everybody. But
that's like me now though, because I went to Contemporary and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I love this book. I'm gonna go read your whole backlist." I was like, "Thanks, love ya, appreciate ya, but before you go," I was like, "Just so you know." I was like, all my other books aren't like that. I was like, still spicy. I was like, but pain, triggers, read them, beware.
Death of the characters.
So, yeah.
And
of me.
Okay, so what about, so you all didn't start off writing like that was your only job. You had other jobs, right? Before you got into writing, or did any of you start writing just right out of the gate?
I was writing right out the gate, but it's only because I was on, I say maternity, but I wasn't really on maternity because I started on maternity. I used to work in finance, then went on maternity, and then we realised my daughter was autistic, and then it was just too much therapy to keep up with to commit to work. So I agreed to stay out of work until she was going to go to school, and like the year she was due to go to school was 2020 COVID. And then I was like, I don't really want to go back to finance. What do I want to do? And then I just started writing.
Yeah.
So,
I was a stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home mom reading pages and pages of Mills and Boone before I found like spicy romance porn. Yeah. I actually, do you know what? I used to read loads and loads and loads of really contemporary, like very angsty, low spice stuff.
I used to read lots of thrillers.
No, I started off blogging. I was a book blogger for 4 years, and had always wanted to write a book, but didn't think I'd be able to. And there's a few authors that I used to regularly read for, and they encouraged me, and I gave myself 30 days, which seems completely stupid now.
That's insane.
But I was reading like 30 to 40 books a month, reading. So I didn't book anything in, gave myself 30 days, and I wrote my first book in 30 days.
Amazing.
It took me 18 months to make it legible, but the first draft. And I was only ever going to write one. Just going to write one. I was going to write one empty book with all the things that I liked, and that was nearly 8 years ago now.
Wow.
Okay,
you're making me feel like a noob.
How about you, Bea? Did you hear me? I didn't know.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So I went to uni back when I was like 21 or whatever, and I did creative writing in English, and then I didn't write a single thing for about 15 years. Went to a normal job. I worked with disabled people, did all of that, got married, had family. And then when my youngest, who's now 14, went to school full time, part-time, and I was like, what am I going to do in those 2 days? And I was like, I'm going to write a book. So it took me 2 years to write my first book. It was the urban fantasy that just dive bombed. And then I came across reverse harem, and I was like, what is this? Reverse harem is my thing. And I was like, do you know what? And then I ended up getting invited to write in a anthology by C.M. Stunick, and I wrote a short story that ended up starting the whole world that I've just left behind of 25 books. So yeah, that's me.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
So 2017 is when I first published my book, my very first book, and then been doing it.
C.M. Stunick was actually my first reverse harem. When you just said that then, the Burberry Prep was the first time I discovered it, and I read it, and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? I was like, why is she getting with all of them? What is happening? And like, I went in blind.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a thing,
I was so blown away.
I was like flicking the pages, like, oh my God, what is this?
I love that series.
It's amazing.
It's so good. It's like my OG one that I like to go back to.
Oh, Alison's Adventures in Underland. That's my favourite.
I've not done that one. I've heard so many good things about that one.
God, I have like an entire leg that's inspired by that series tattoo.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I absolutely love it. It's filthy. It starts off with a bang, and highly recommend it. Love that.
I'm gonna have to read that.
Super. She's like one of the main sort of RH, who I would say like the kind of queen of RH. She's one of them up there, like the original OG kind of RH authors for me.
I agree.
Definitely.
Same.
And
she needs to finish the Scarlet Force series though.
I've not started that because I know it's not finished. I won't do it to myself.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Shame on you. You're an author. We're supposed to be pushing that people should start series before they're complete, right?
Very true,
yes,
but I don't read as much as I used to. Like, I used to do like 40 books a month, and then when I got serious about writing, I'm lucky if I make it through 3-4 books a month now. So
it's probably more than I do, to be fair.
It's sad.
I was gonna say, do you find it hard to write and read a book at the same time? Like, do you have to finish your book before then you take a break and you read, or can you do both?
I'll basically like fill my Kindle up for like 2 months whilst I'm working on a book, and then when I get that sent off for edits and not working, I'm like, right, let's binge books for 2 weeks. And have
That's like the reward at the end. I've got like my favourite authors, and I'm like, right, they've had a new release. I'm going to keep them there, and then once I finish, I can just go and binge the books.
Yeah, if I'm on holiday, as many as I can fit in a small space of time.
Oh, well, I'm going to
because that must be a radical change.
I'll probably have a bunch then.
That must be a radical change for you, Gemma, because you said you were reading like 40 books a month as an ARC reader.
Yeah.
And then now you're writing. That's a huge change.
I very, very, very rarely get a chance to read. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, but I do tend to listen to my favourites, and I do a lot of re-listening. Purely and simply because then I can have it on while I make tea, or I'm driving to the supermarket, or running my kids round.
You don't have to be fully locked in.
Yeah, I haven't really got to like sit and concentrate, because if I start reading a book, I binge read. I can't put it down. And I can lose a week, you know what I mean? Like reading an author's entire back catalogue, because I get sucked in and then I get no work done. So I think you can't, I know some people can, I certainly can't concentrate on anything else. If I'm in the world that I'm writing, that's where I am until it's over.
Yeah, like 1 minute it's 8 o'clock and the next it's 2 a.m. and you're like still not put it down. You're like, oh crap, I need to be asleep.
Yeah.
I can't listen to audiobooks. I've tried. I cannot. My brain just wanders, and I'm like, I can't listen to my own, but I cannot. I've tried to listen to other authors, and I just can't do it. My head goes somewhere else.
I'm like, I'm not an audio girl.
No,
I love it.
I can do it when I'm driving. Because then it's like that's all I'm focusing on as I'm driving.
The only full audio I've actually ever listened to was my own.
Oh no!
And it's only because they sent it and they were like, check it and see if you like it.
I love audiobooks. I absolutely love audiobooks. They're like an escape for me. Like I said, I don't have to pay like crazy attention because it's books that I already know the story.
Yeah,
right. Which I think makes it easier. But yeah, like there's a lot.
I feel like I zone out at my favourite bits though, and then have to go back and rewind it.
Yeah, I completely zone out, or I fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's not because it's bad, it's just because it lulls me. I'm like,
I go to sleep listening to an audiobook every single night. I put my timer on 15 minutes when I know I'm on the way out, and I listen to 15 minutes before I pass out.
That's crazy.
It's my wind down.
No, when it's time to sleep for me, I have to be like, lay down, eye mask on, fan on, ear defenders in, complete optimal environment, no one touching me. In the zone, ready for sleep.
Oh no.
We actually all of I think every book bestie I have is an audio listener. Like it's very, very, very popular.
Yeah.
It is.
A lot of people do when they're cleaning the house, they're taking the kids to school. It's just
I only tried it once when I was cleaning the house and the delivery guy came and I opened the door and I listened to stuff loud. It was like on volume 30 on the TV, and I'm signing for a parcel, and he just heard something about massive cock, and he just looked at me and I looked at him, and I was just like, thanks. And that was the end of it for me. I was just like, I can't do this. I can't.
We get posts like that in the group all the time, right? Where people say that they had their audiobook on in their backyard and they didn't know it was playing out the backyard speakers, you know? And
I went to school wearing a probably really smut sweatshirt, forgot about it, went and picked my daughter up, and when I come in, my husband was like, have you just wore that to school? And I was like, what? And I'm like panicking, thinking there's like a stain. I'm like, what? And he was like, you've got your smut sweatshirt on. And I was like, I wondered why people were looking at me. And I'm just like walking around like, yep.
Yes.
You just forget that not everyone's the same as you.
So a little bit earlier back, all three of you said RH. Is that still like the accepted term? Like, is that in England, or like, because we all say why choose, right? For the most part now. How do you guys?
I think I slipped back into it. I think the right thing is probably why I choose. But
yeah, it is.
I mean, I was back. I feel like right in the beginning, maybe not right. The RH term was kind of back 2016, 2017 when I started. So it's kind of embedded in my head. But yeah, it's why choose. I try to say why choose.
I'll be honest. It's reverse harem to me. If I see why choose, I know what it is.
Yeah.
But because I don't, I mean, I wrote my first why choose this year. Which is a weird.
And which one's that?
It was in an anthology. It's called Black Sheep. It's mafia. It's very dirty.
I'm a sucker for a why choose.
Oh,
especially if the men are getting spicy with each other as well.
Oh, mine don't. Yeah. Pulein simply.
I can't not make my men spicy for each other. It's a real problem. Like every time I've gone to write it was always like, even in the why choose, so I was like, let's just sprinkle them with a bit of love for each other.
I like reading it, but I'll be truthful. I always wanted to write a reverse harem. I wrote one. I'm not sure I'll ever write another one. My dudes weren't into each other. They were 100% focused on her.
See, I can't get in a zone where there's like 3, 4, 5 guys in a room with the girl, and they're just not thinking, do you know what? While we're here,
I only have 3 and every hole's a goal, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So
like, there's always going to be a small part just chilling, so why not just entertain yourselves?
Most of my books are RH. In actual fact, and the last lot of books that I've written, of 25 books, only 1 duet and 1 standalone was MF, and I'm now writing more MF.
Really?
I'm always RH. So, and it goes in, it gets links, it gets in there eventually, especially with Academy of Stars.
I was just about that, and if yours got MM in it?
I think why choose?
I'll create tension with guys when they're not even spicy for each other. I just can't help it. I just think it's fun.
I think why choose is it's a phenomenon right now. I think it's on its way up. It's already been huge, but it's all over the bestseller list now. You know, and it's like series like Broken Bonds has really made it really popular.
Oh, I love those books.
You know, it's like the enemies to lovers why choose that. Like,
I am a slut for enemies to lovers.
I love enemies to lovers. I do.
The book I'm writing now is actually the first time I've wrote like a story where they're not enemies, like they're full on just friends to lovers, and it's slow burn, and it's been so weird. Like so weird.
I'm not a fan of friends to lovers writing it because it's too nice.
Yeah,
like there's no, like I like my guys to be a bit unhinged, but you know,
I like assholes. Like
I
want them to be horrible, and readers be like, "Do we gonna forgive this guy?"
Yeah, my last release in my Alpha Hole series, he's psychotic. There's no other way to describe it. Like, and he was the nice guy in the previous books. And when it's come to his book, and I didn't intend to write him as a psycho, it's just sort of happened when I was writing it. And I'm like, I don't actually remember how I used to write like these nice characters because I can't do it anymore. Mine all turn into right dickheads.
I know they're going to be assholes, and I'm just like dipping them in loads of trauma too.
Yeah. I always traumatise. All my characters have been traumatised in one way, shape, or form.
Same.
Poor things. I've just got terrible
Most of mine have
parents,
shitty parents as well.
Well, why don't we just take a beat here and talk about each of your books, right? So B, let's talk about The Dancer and the Masks, right? Because that's a pretty dark themed book, right? Yeah. I remember when I
tell me everything.
Yeah, so you got to tell all, because you guys are all going to run off and grab each other's books. I just know it. I have a feeling. So
she
I
had
remember
me before at Channing Tatum, so I'm sold.
Channing Tatum, yeah. I remember at FFB, I walked up to you and I said something about the fact that it's kind of non-consent, and you were like, she was like not conscious, Rebecca. It's definitely non-consent. Do you remember?
Okay.
I don't know if you remember.
I'm
you
sold.
said that to me. Like she wasn't aware of what's going on. It's non-consent. I was like, oh.
So their obsession duet, which is the dance from the Mars and the Mars and Dance, is a spin-off from another from the world that I wrote in Academy of Stardom, Grim and Beast duet, and it is basically.
Hope it's pause for me. Is it pause for you guys too?
Yeah.
I was going to say I can't hear her.
Oh yeah, I can't either. That's so weird. It just went out right when she was talking. That's so unfair.
I just know she's describing all the goodness of a book as well. I'm missing it.
So good. It's really good. It's dark though. It's dark.
Sorry, my connection.
She's back.
There she is.
Sorry. Just when I'm explaining the story, it goes. So it's basically the Greatest Showman mixed with the Phantom of the Opera, and the girl, the female lead, is kidnapped by some three mafia men who wear masks.
Three.
And they take her back to their castle in Scotland, and they're basically just their father steals artistic people, so dancers, musicians, singers, and takes them there, and then they basically put them in this show called the Menagerie, and they get all these deviant men and women in to shag them basically. And so she's brought into the thing. They strip her of her name. They call her, each of the three guys, because the harem, call her 0, 0, and nothing. So she's nothing. And then eventually all this stuff happens. And of course she makes them fall in love with her, but she doesn't do it very, she's really like fights them the whole time. She always tells them what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing to me is wrong. And then eventually all kind of comes around, and she, all this, lots of dark stuff happen. They tie her to Andrew's cross. There's blood pay. There's all sorts of shit.
Sold.
Dark stuff. So that is my darkest ever duet. I haven't written anything as dark as that. And actually, the second book completely drained me. I was like, I cannot do another really dark one like that again for a little while. Like, just knocked it right out of me. So,
oh my god,
tend to be dark, but that was the darkest duet. Yeah.
I think that's what readers don't realize as well. When you're writing such dark things, you're like in that trauma with them, and you're like,
this is so draining. Like, they've all been abused by their dad. There's some really heavy stuff that goes on. I'm like, I can't do this. So my series I'm writing now is much lighter, and people are like, what's she doing? This isn't. And I'm like, I just needed a break. I can't do dark forever.
You're like, I've got PTSD. Let me live.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me have a break.
Yeah, yours is, but I would have to say, I mean, Gemma, Obsession's pretty dark too.
I'll be honest, mine sounds like fluff in comparison to that.
I mean, yeah, I would have to say these is probably, I mean, she's captured. She's there against your will. There's a non-consent scene, It's not non-consent,
My books are not dark like that at all. There is none of that going on in mine. That, I'll be honest, that's good.
Sebastian is dark. Sebastian is dark in Obsession.
Sebastian is dark, but in a very different way. It is not a physical thing. It's a manipulation thing. I describe it more as a mind fuck than anything else, because it's much younger. When they meet, they're in high school, and he's a year above her, and they're very rich kids in a rich world. Apart from the main female character, and she, her mom's an author, and she can afford a certain amount of time in a private school, and basically he sees her and decides that she's his, and there's sort of no question in his mind, and then he basically just sort of tells her, There's no romance. He doesn't try and romance or woo her. He literally walks up to her one day and goes, "You're mine now," and that's it. And within about an hour and a half of him declaring her, he's sedated her, put a tracker in her neck. He takes over her life.
Yeah.
It's not dark, she says.
Well, I mean,
it is though. It
is. To me, it's not. It's nowhere near as dark as like rape and kidnapping.
It's not blood play.
It is a mind fuck. But the thing is, she doesn't know. She has no idea that she's got a tracker in her. She doesn't find that out until significantly further into the book.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
But he takes over her world, and he doesn't give her a choice in it. There's no question, and everybody else in her world is on board with it apart from her. So. And
her mom and everything, like everyone's on board.
Like he coerces her mom, and he sort of brings her mom, who is divorced. She was married very young. She's very self-centered, very sort of into her world, and just happens to have a child. And then when Starling, which is the name of the female character, when she doesn't want to play ball, she leaves. She runs and she leaves for like 2 or 3 years. I can't remember what the gap is. And then the story picks back up again in college. And obviously when you're outside of the house that you live with your parents, the sort of ability to control somebody's world becomes easier and more difficult. But he manipulates her into a situation where he completely he takes over everything. I mean, he gets her to the college that he wants her, and he gets her in a house with him and his friends. And she's not a total doormat. She does fight back. But again, it's all very manipulative. There's a lot of a lot of dubious consent. He never outright just rapes her, but it's very persuasive. A lot of body betraying syndrome, because I love a good old-fashioned body betraying syndrome. And he just takes over her world. And I mean, she calls him a psycho. He's openly admits that he's completely psychotic and he's completely unrepentant. Even though everything that he does is so incredibly wrong, he's never sorry for it. He pretends to be sorry, but he's not sorry at all. And their story is sort of a continuous arc that carries through the entire series. But I'm writing the friends' stories as well, and they all become very consumed and very fucked up in their own little ways.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. I love too that she gets away. You know, like she isn't completely spineless. She does run away, and then when I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's great. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Okay, sorry, Gabby. I just feel bad. I was like, I want to make sure I get to Gabby and talk about the Puck Secret too. So the Puck Secret, all right? Let's talk about that a little bit.
The Puck Secret, that's not, like I said, it's not one of my dark books.
No, it's not.
So it's very tame compared to...
Which, hold on, time out for a second. So, but Bea's most known for her non-darker books too, right? With the dance academies. You said it's I'm so sorry, Bea. Stardom Academy?
Academy of Stardom, yeah.
Academy of Stardom. I have to read it. I'm so sorry. I've read the Dance and the Masks, which I love. I reached out and said, would you do this? But I have to check it out. And then Gemma's really known for her Mountain Man series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'd say it was just fluke that the Puck Secret took off, and then most people that have loved the Puck Secret have gone back and read the dark stuff, and I get messages now. I'm like, oh my god, I love these books. Like, is this coming? Because I've set up like other worlds in some of my stuff, so there's other books that are coming. But now everyone's just like, give me the hockey series. So the Puck Secret is enemies to lovers, because I'm a slut for it, like I said. The FMC Madda is the mayor's daughter. She's grew up very rich with a lot of expectations. Her dad is an asshole, for lack of a better word, and he's basically forcing her into a business marriage with like one of his friend's sons. She doesn't want to be in it at all, and that's how the book starts. Basically, he calls her into his office at a party, and he's like, "You're gonna get married to this guy," and she's like, "What? I've just seen him fucking a waitress. What you want about? Like, I don't want to get married to him." So, and then she gets into a fight with the guy who obviously knew all about the arrangement, breaks her phone, gets home, a bodyguard gives her a new phone. She goes to text her best friend and accidentally texts the wrong number. And then, sidebar from that, the main male character is called Nova. He's captain of the hockey team. He plays on the hockey team with Maddie's brother. And he hates the mayor and both of his kids because the mayor had an affair with his mum like a few years ago. And when it came out, he came out unscathed because he was the mayor and she got fired and they had to like move. So he hates the mayor and both his kids. So then back to Maddie sending a text to the wrong number. She starts anonymously texting somebody with wonder who. And they start revealing secrets to each other. And while they're like being all cute, flirty and secretive on text, you see her interacting with Nova, the captain, in real life. And they're being horrible to each other. He calls her a slut. He's like, get out of my face. Like, they basically hate each other, but they're texting one another.
So it's like you got mail.
Yeah. Nice.
It's the enemies to lovers, you got mail.
Yeah. And they don't know for a while. So even when the spy starts with them in real life, it only starts because she sees the guy she's supposed to be getting married to at the pie, like getting off with another girl. And she's like, do you know what? Fuck him. I'm going to go and get some as well. She's on the hunt for like the player of the team, which is the goalie. And she goes upstairs to like knock on his bedroom, but knocks on the wrong door. And she knocks on the captain's door. And then when she sees him, even though she hates him, she's really drunk. And she just looks at him and she's like, do you know what? Fuck it. You'll do. Goes for him there. And then that starts like a bit of an obsession for him in real life. Like he's obsessed with like the balls that she had, but then he's also like obsessed with the girl on his phone. So he's like really struggling like between these two girls, not knowing they're the same one.
Love it.
And there's also a very, sharing scene in there, even though it's MF.
Yeah, there's a moment there where I wondered if it was a why choose, because I go into books completely blind. I don't read the blurb. I mean, I don't even like to know the title of the book. Like I will, someone sends me a link, I pick it up and I open it and I just go.
I could just read for tropes. If someone just lists the tropes, I'd be like, sold.
Yeah, that's all. I wish blurbs would just be like, exactly, but it is what it is. And it's the
But yeah, the truth or dare scene, as I like to call it, everyone goes crazy for it. And that was where like the new readers came for me, because they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you've put this in this book. Whereas people that already read me knew that I like to just put crazy, like my dark motorcycle series is 4 books. It's a why choose, and it starts with a group scene in the prologue of book 1, because I didn't want to wait for that. Like, so it starts with a bang. So everyone that hadn't read that was like, oh my God, this scene is insane. And I was like, is it? Like, it's okay. Like, it's not the most atrocious thing we've ever written. And they were like, what? Where can I find that? And I was like, here you go and find it. But,
awesome. Well, I have to say, like, for each of you, they were page-turning reads for me. Like, for all of, I mean, I absolutely adored Obsession. Adored is the wrong word, really. I mean, I just I love Sebastian. The scene was great. Gabby after the Puck the scene was also great. There's also a scene with her and her vibrator, Harold. So
Harold. We love Harold.
Yep. Same thing with you. Like, you do great. You do great stuff too. It's hot. So, it just, they're great. I love lots of books, but your books I couldn't put down. You know what I mean? And so that's why I was just like, I really wanted to have all 3 of you on here. It's such a special group of women that write amazing stuff.
Thank you. So you're so kind.
We've been getting comments of people on the side talking about how much they love all of the books. I've been hearing all kinds of stuff about Puck Secret, all of them. And also there's a question about book signings. If you guys are planning to attend any book signings coming up soon, and where?
Too many.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am in...
Okay, just the next one. How about that?
I'm in Peterborough at British Book Bash.
Me too. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Yay! That's awesome. So you guys all see each other there.
And then I'm at...
I won't be there.
So question, Gemma, if I come over to the table, am I getting a book plug or what?
I have a box full, so yes, you can have a book plug.
Just have to slide into my DMs and let me know what table and number you are. Just asking for a friend.
I've got the biggest, most obnoxious step and repeat banner there, so you can't actually miss me. It's ridiculous. No, go on. Sorry, I'm being invaded by pre-teens. And then after that, I'm at Rare Edinburgh.
Me too.
Yay!
Okay,
Yeah, they're
cool.
my next two. That's it for this year for me.
All right, awesome. And how about you, Bea? Where's your next book signing?
So British Book Bash. I was going to do Rare Edinburgh, but we've got a family event, so I couldn't end up going to that one, which is a shame. So I love Rare Edinburgh. Back in 22 was my first signing, and it was the best experience of my life. It was brilliant.
Aww.
So you'll really enjoy it. And I did London last year, which was awesome. But then
Me
after
too.
that, I've got my first US signing in Wild and Windy West in Phoenix.
Oh,
I'm there.
Oh, you?
Fun, that'd be nice.
Oh, that would be so cool. I'm really nervous because I have no idea what to expect. Like, I just don't know whether I'm going to have anyone coming to see me whatsoever.
You'll be surprised because the first signing I ever did was in America, and I was like that. Yeah, and it was insane, but it was a really good experience. It was really fun.
Where did you sign at?
I did Shameless. They finished now, but it was in,
I did that one.
Orlando.
I was there.
Yeah, I said that to a last
I was at the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Lexi C. Foss. It was like her kind of, it was all kind of, her stuff was everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a really good signing.
By the way, one of the sweetest people ever, Lexi C. Foss.
Oh my God, I love Lexi.
One of the nicest women ever. Seriously. Awesome author.
Love her.
So we were all there at the same Shameless?
Yeah.
Wow. That was my first time in America, first US signing.
That was my first US signing and first signing ever.
I tell you what, it was absolute madness. I sold out of everything. I sold every single book I took with me.
That's so good.
I was not expecting it. Wasn't expecting it at all.
I have no idea what to do for America because obviously you get your pre-orders, but sometimes you can't always tell with your pre-orders whether you're gonna, you just can't tell. Like with Edinburgh Rare, the first signing, I had a fair few pre-orders. But then I thought, well, I won't bring that many books because most of them have just pre-ordered. And I was like, oh, what? I didn't have enough at all. So I don't know what to do. So I might drop in your DMs to find out like what you kind of do for America. So I just really don't know. I have no idea. I
have not got even a pre-order up for Phoenix yet. I can't even think about next year.
Me neither.
I've still got loads going on this year.
Yeah.
But my pre-orders for Shameless were not crazy high, but on the day, I mean, like, I'd almost sold out by the end of their early entry.
Wow.
I dramatically underestimated
That's insane.
I have no idea. Wow. Oh God. It's really scary because you just don't. I don't want to come home with anything, I just don't want to have that hassle. So I'm just like.
I shared a table with my friend because I was still very new at the time, and I sold more than half of what I had, and I was shocked because I was like, "Oh, it'll probably just be more, it's more for fun." Like, I didn't just go for the signing; I went with my family as well at the same time, so it wasn't a waste. And that's how I was thinking. I was like, "It won't be a waste." I'm getting a family trip out to it. We did Disney and stuff. It was fun. And I was like, it'll just be for experience. I sold a lot more than I thought I was going to sell, especially for how new I was at the time as well.
I wasn't expecting it at all. And I mean, she's gone. We had the most amazing. I mean, we were out there. We flew in on the Wednesday night, but really late. And then we went home again on the Sunday. So we were there for a really short amount of time.
Wow.
And did you do the event on the night time?
The party?
The masquerade ball or whatever it was on the night time. Oh my God, we'd made some really good friends with this group of girls, and we had the most. I mean, God, they knew how to do a good after party. That was a fantastic event.
Although there's one point where everyone who was obviously American broke out into some dance, and my friend who I was with was American. And I was like, "What is going on?" She was like, "Do you not know this dance?" I was like, "No, I don't know this dance. Like, I have no idea what's going on right now."
Well, I'm just absorbing it all because I'm actually right now in conversations with a vendor in Orlando for our first book signing.
No way.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, I'm literally messing. It's actually really hard because it's like they want to know how many people that we'll have for the whole event, but they care about big hotels. Like this is a major hotel in Orlando. They care about the number of rooms and the number of food. So they want to know, and then I sign on that, and I'm responsible for it. So if people don't come, I pay 90% of all the rooms.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
so do the
insane.
math. You know, you book,
I wouldn't have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm on the hook for 90% of them, you know. So I'm like, and there's all this. It's crazy. Like a pot of coffee is like $160. You get a pot of coffee for the venue. Yeah,
That's insane.
That's because the hotels, that's where they make their money. So I can always have the venue like outside of a major hotel, but it would be silly not to in Orlando use a major hotel right next to SeaWorld, Universal. All the parks are there. It's got the kid pool.
It convinces people to come.
Yeah,
what year are you considering doing it?
I'm going to do, right now it's 2026 is what I'm looking at. If they have dates in 2025, they're going to let me know. But
see, for me, I can only do like sort of one big international and maybe a couple in England a year, because I just can't with family and looking at I'm like the main carer for my parents. I actually can't sort of do more. So when they just announced another Rare in 25 possibly in New York, and I was like, I really want to go, but I'm already doing Phoenix. I just can't swing it.
I've seen that one, but it's literally like 2 weeks before Babe in Australia.
Which is why I'm trying to do 20. That's why I'm trying to do 2026. Is that way all the authors can go ahead and say, "Yep, we're coming." And I can, get all
I literally just signed on for my first 2026 international. And it is, I mean, it's so far ahead, but it is sort of like my 2025 is booked now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing a lot next year. I'm doing Phoenix and then I'm doing London Rare.
That's basically
but Amy's just announced New York.
Yeah.
And I had an idea that an American signing for Rare was coming, but it was going to be a 2026 thing, and now it's 2025.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to figure out how the bloody hell I get to bloody New York when I've been in Phoenix like 2 months before.
Right. It's really typical. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do Babe again, but that's 25, and I just couldn't do Australia.
See, I'm doing Babe, which is why I can't even think about Rare New York, because it's literally like the same month, and I was like, I can't fly in like both directions of the world. It'd be too much.
No. I did Australia last April, and it's such a long way away.
It's really far.
Such a long way. And that year, I was supposed to go to Babe as well. I'd originally signed on for Babe, and then the timing of Rare worked out better for me, so I dropped out of Babe and did Rare instead.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, it's like a 23-hour flight from the UK. And
I kind of was like, do you know what? It's like a once in a lifetime. I might never go again. I'm going to do it this year. And then I thought, if you do it in 26, I might be able to swing it, but I just couldn't do 25. There's no way.
See, that's what 25 is to me. I'm like, I've never been. It's once in a lifetime. Like, I'm going with friends. It'll be the first time I'm like going on a adults only trip since I've had my little girl. Well, she's nearly 8 now, and I'm like, I can't wait. But I feel like if they do it again in the future, I'll probably be like, go on then.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before I make it back over there again. The travelling on the way back, we did the book signing. We were there for 13 days, which is not a lot of time when it's Australia.
Yeah. Same. I was only there for 10. Yeah.
Well, it took me 8 days to sleep because the jet lag just killed me. I didn't sleep at all during the night for 8 straight days.
Wow.
Yeah. And like we got in on the Tuesday, and then obviously the book signing. No, we got in on the Wednesday, and then the signing was like Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something.
Yeah.
And so it was a long 13 days.
Yeah, I bet it does knock it out of you.
Well, so that's all those reasons are why I'm trying to plan it for 2026. So
2026.
There was a very
holler at us for 2026.
We are almost out of time, like less than 20 seconds.
Oh no!
This has been so much fun, you guys. I know, oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. Again, thank you so much for coming on. Like seriously, this has just been awesome. Really.
It's been
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do it again.
Okay.
All right.